Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this December 24th, 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated, also brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. What we're seeing is a bit of a break from what has been a relentless 2 weeks of winter weather across many areas of the central and northern areas of the United States. We're going to see the Arctic air retreat more towards the Great Lakes and the East Coast and the southeastern United States. So we're going to see temperatures slowly moderating this weekend into early next week. So this is good news. We haven't been able to do this for the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks have been just brutal for many of you. First, we had the blizzard. Then we had the biggest Arctic outbreak we've seen in over 30 years head into the northern and central areas of the United States. But with the Arctic air shifting east, temperatures will slowly moderate, but it's going to stay active. The Pacific now is going to be throwing systems our way. So what will happen is instead of the Arctic dominating, it'll be the Pacific. That's good because that will mean temperatures will be more manageable. They'll still be cold at times, but manageable. And this pattern is going to bring an increase to rain and snow to California, the Pacific Northwest, and then into the interior West. Mountain snow will be picking up. So that will help the already pretty good looking snowpack here in the coming week or two. We don't see any really big weather system on the plains, at least over the next week. And that means no severe cold. So once we get rid of this Arctic air, at least through the next week into the first couple of days of the new year, we don't see anything too big. But at least for the next 7 days, we do catch a little bit of a break, except for you folks that are going to be in and around the mountain areas and in the far west. Over the last week, you can see where the precipitation has been, focusing in the northwest, north central areas of the United States with the winter storm and the colder weather. And over the last 2 weeks, you can see how snowy it's been across those northern plains, back into the Rockies, and all the way down into the mountains of the southwestern United States and the Sierra Nevada and up into the Cascades. Here's the Arctic outbreak. Boy, it is an amazing stretch of Arctic air that goes from Alaska all the way to Mexico. You don't see this too often where you have such a huge distance and longitude of this Arctic air. This Arctic air is going to continue to plunge south and east like this as we go through this Christmas weekend, causing a major winter storm in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast, while the western United States starts to see a more westerly flow. And here it is. So here is the big weekend storm in the upper Great Lakes in New England, while a more Pacific influence comes in off the west coast. And you can see by Sunday, this is by Christmas, the Arctic air is getting pushed east. This is allowing temperatures to be not terribly warm, but warmer than it's been. As we look at the forecast into the next coming week, this is where the Pacific plays a role. A west to east flow off the Pacific means more moderate temperatures. But it also means the Pacific Northwest and California will be getting wet again. And that moisture will then stretch into the Rockies, bringing mountain snow and an increase in mountain snowfall. So that'll be good. Then as we get into next week, late next week, this is towards next weekend, a week from where we are now, we don't see a big weather system, but smaller weather systems continuing to come in this western flow. So that cuts us off from the deep Arctic cold. The Arctic cold will stay right around here, while a more moderate flow comes underneath. But there will be precipitation with these Pacific waves. And you can see that. Look at California. Look at Arizona down into Mexico, into Utah, the mountains of Colorado, Wyoming, and Idaho, back into the Great Basin states. Well, you're going to be getting some mountain snows to help out that snowpack. Now, on the plains, there's going to be some snow, but it doesn't look to be heavy. And this is what the snowfall forecast looks like over the next week. And you can see the concentration of the heavier snows in the mountains. Have yourself a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.